High stakes. That's what the president said the Russia meeting's all about a little bit later on today as he's on his way to meet with Putin. That's coming up as well as this. For the first time, at least in the history of my podcast here, and the short few months we've been doing it, one story has consistently flowed all the way through the work week, through Monday all the way through today, and it is the crime situation in Washington, D.C. But this is a little bit different, because I knew it was going to take a while, and this is kind of a good takeaway for all of us. Whenever you hear the hysterics, first of all, about, it's a takeover, it's a regime, wait a couple of days and start to hear from the real people, not the talking heads, not the politicians, not people with a vested interest or an agenda. Listen to real people, and now they're starting to get their voices heard. This so-called takeover in D.C. is incredibly popular with the real people that actually live there. We'll get to that as well, but we'll lighten it up, too. It's not going to be all serious stuff. Most importantly, the most important thing we can talk about today is it's Friday. Welcome to your weekend. Almost. We'll get through this. Let's talk about some news, how you can handle it, how you fight back with this stuff, and we'll get into the weekend the right way. Thanks for finding the Wicked Radio live stream with me, Bill, and Wicked Wisdom with Bill Adams. All your social media platforms, when the algorithm is with me, because that's an important part of this too. And you audio podcast listeners, when you're done with this, just press subscribe or download whatever it is on your platform, and you'll know when the new episodes are coming out. With that said, let's get right to it. Let's start with something awesome and fun and ironic and classic. Now, like I said, it's pretty rare that a story, because the news happens so fast these days, right? Something makes the headlines, and then it's out of the headlines. People forget about it. It's all part of the news cycle. The crime situation in Washington, D.C., and President Trump announcing the Homeland Act, where it's not a takeover. Feds and Homeland Security and even Park Police are now getting some assistance with the D.C. police to help the residents there with what they've been living under. There's always light in the darkness, and this is one of the funniest stories that came out of this. Not at first, because we didn't know what it actually was, right? And the guy is actually lucky he didn't get shot. I'm talking about the Subway sandwich thrower. I'm sure you've seen this by now. You've seen the video, but there's an amazing update on this. So here's the original assault. And this guy was actually in D.C., but he was protesting some of the cops that were there, and he actually threw a sandwich, a sub, at cops, like in their faces, and then ran. And then, of course, they caught him, of course. But if you missed the original video... Motherfucker! Oh! Oh! And, of course, the brilliant commentary from whoever was running camera. That's what you get. That's social media these days. That's what it is, right? So, of course, they arrest him. They didn't know anything else, and everybody was laughing about it, and all the jokes were all out there, and I've heard them all, and I asked him myself, I wonder what kind of a sandwich it was. That's what people were asking online. I believe it was, by the way, the answer to that question, it was a $5 woke long. All right, that went over like a lead balloon. But it's Friday and I'm punchy, whatever. That's what it is. Well, there's an amazing update on this because the Subway sandwich sub-thrower, as it turns out, was a federal contractor. That's right. He was with the DOJ. That news broken yesterday by none other than the amazing Harmeet Dillon yesterday. She did an interview with Benny Johnson. Here's her talking about
You're telling me that the man in the salmon-colored shirt here is a DOJ contractor?
Yes, the man in the salmon-colored shirt with the effete gesture there of throwing a Subway sandwich was a DOJ contractor. He is no longer.
Incredible.
I absolutely love her. Well, now he has no job because, of course, they got to fire him, and he has no sandwich. So that didn't really work out too well for him. You know what's amazing, too? Everybody talks about this authoritarian takeover in D.C. Those cops there, they didn't shoot him. Could have. They didn't know what it was at first. They didn't know it was a sandwich in his hand, but they did arrest him, and now he's out of a job. I love Harmeet, too, with the effete gesture there. So there's your crime situation. But as always, like I said, this is a really good news media takeaway for stuff. Whenever something happens and something big like this, and it was a big story. This is like one of those big culture stories, right? Where, wow, the feds are coming in to help out with crime in D.C. It's that bad. No. All week long, we were told by politicians who are against this, who have a vested interest in this, What is this is totally unnecessary. Crime isn't that bad. Really? Okay. By the way, this is another understated point. Is that why there's been a curfew in Washington, D.C. for kids under 18 overnight? No, crime can't be that bad, right? Right. Well, now, as always, if you wait a couple of days, get away from the talking heads and the politicians and people with a vested interest in telling you how things really are because they have an agenda. And by the way, we're going to listen to city officials with statistics who have a vested interest in telling you their crime is not bad. You never listen to them. You can twist statistics any way you possibly want. Use your eyes and ears and talk to real people who actually live in that city. Like this lady, because now the voices are finally starting to be heard. Here's a lady talking about what it's really like on the streets of Washington, D.C. You want to listen to her?
We need all the protection that we can get in the city because the city is really getting dangerous. A person like me at this age, I have to make sure to come home before sundown.
No, not bad at all. No, there's just a lady who has to get home before sundown because she's afraid of getting mugged. But no, it's okay. No, that's totally fun. That's totally safe. Total overreaction, right, to have some federal assistance. Right. Like we said yesterday, it's coming to a city near you as well. Is the crime out of control? This is one of the top campaign issues that people voted for. And the administration know this. That's why they're doing that, because they know they have the public support. But wait a minute. Do they have the public support? I don't know. Let's see. Let's go to CNN yesterday talking about it, because they have their pollsters and they have to talk about it. What's this rule I've been telling you for months now? If CNN is talking about something that's beneficial to the president, you can take it as gospel. Because the last thing CNN wants to do is talk about anything that's beneficial to President Trump. That's one of the first takeaways. And here's what they
Democrats
say.
have to get it around their heads that Americans are far more hawkish on crime than they think that they are. What are we talking about? Trump's net approval handling crime. Where was he last year? He was way underwater at minus 13 points views of term number one. But look at where he is now. He's on the positive side of the ledger. He's on the positive side at plus 1 point. Americans.
Yeah, pretty much America is in favor of cracking down on crime. As a whole, as a nation, we've had enough. It might have been a top 3 election issue for you. It was top 2 for me. Like I said, I've told you a million times. I have a daughter that goes to school in New York City. That crime-ridden cesspool. But again, like with the stats, right? New York City officials will tell you, no, the crime rates are down. Arrests are up. It's fine. The city's never been safer. Right. Again, I'll say it again a million times. Never listen to people who have a vested interest in selling you an agenda. Use your eyes, your ears, and what it's like. And I've been to that city a lot, much more than I've wanted to recently. And it is not the same. It's crime-ridden, it's dirty, and people who have been living there for a long time tells me it's back to like the early 70s days when it was a mess. That's the truth. Listen to people who are actually there. All right. Enough of the crime story. Even though the subway thrower story was awesome. That was hilarious. That's God. And by the way, here's another takeaway on the subway thrower who was a Department of Justice contractor. Confirmed. Well, was, because he lost his job. Here's another thing. I'm never going to let anybody in the media or anybody else in life make me feel bad about them cleaning house and cutting the fat from all these federal agencies. Like that guy. You know, because the first people that go with these contractors, all of them, right? All we've heard, for months, the stories are, oh, no, all these feds, they're looking for work. They've had to sell their $1 million Northern Virginia houses. Oh, it's so sad. Yeah, tough shit. Because if the Department of Justice has been hiring a guy like that, who thought he could throw a sandwich at cops and get away with it and not get fired, if that's what you've been employing, eat it. I don't care. Can you imagine if that guy was a contractor, what some of the other ones are like? Useless, overpaid, doing nothing. And that's not everybody. That's not all federal employees, but it's a hell of a lot of them. Cut the fat and don't make me feel bad about it, because I'm not. That's all I'm saying about that. All right, about an hour ago, and this is, you'll probably get the news about it later on if you're watching or listening to this later on, but President Trump was on his way to Alaska with, as he stated and put on Truth Social, which I'm sure was when he was on Air Force One, a 2-word Truth Social, all in capital letters and 2 exclamation points. High stakes. And it is. I mean, how can you possibly describe a meeting with Vladimir Putin as anything other than high stakes, right? And this is about Russia and Ukraine. And by the way, bad move on Ukraine's part last night, launching another offensive with drones. That probably wasn't the smartest thing the night before the meeting. But regardless, here we are. We all want peace in the world. We all want less American involvement and less money going over there because it's just extending the war and sending it out even deeper, right? Getting us into it even deeper. But that's not how it's being portrayed. Isn't it interesting? You probably noticed the same exact thing I did. It's like they're all telling us, all the politicians are telling us, and some on the right too, by the way. You know, this isn't a left-right thing. I'm just talking about politicians versus us and the media. What are they telling us? Well, these are all the messages I've heard about Trump as it pertains to this war on Putin. The first criticism was, remember this? This all relates back to the Russia collusion hoax. He's a Putin puppet. He's doing whatever Putin tells him to do. He's doing it, well, as more and more documents are being released and whistleblowers are coming forward, it turns out the Russia collusion hoax was a bunch of crap. Capiche? I mean, is there any simpler way to say it, right? I've also heard this. He's not doing enough. So now we're hearing that he's on the side of Russia in this war and funding it and fostering it. And now they're also saying he's not doing enough. But now they're back to saying that he shouldn't be meeting with Putin at all. Okay. I think the takeaway for us normal folks is, let's not listen to these people anymore. Perfect example, and I hate to start your day off with a drunk octogenarian, but here she is.
Well, let's hope, but he said he was going to end it one day. He hasn't done that. But again, we want the people of Ukraine, and we commend them for fighting for democracy, and in fighting for their democracy, they're fighting for ours as well. They are fighting for democracy writ large.
Huh? Yeah. It's now she's back to, he said he was going to end the war on day one. It's been 100 days. All right. So it's kind of obvious. Whatever the guy does as it pertains to this or any other issue, they're just going to attack. So whatever. And even if you don't like, even if you hate Trump, even if you hate everything with going on with this, you don't pick a side or you have a side, whatever it is. Isn't it in everybody's best interest to just talk? And he said it the other day in some of the interviews or some of the press conference questions. He goes, I don't know, I'm walking into this thing with an open mind. I'm going to tell him what I want. I'm already pissed off that Putin has not listened to him before. Let's see. But let's all hope, like for humanity's sake, that this thing ends. Let's just stop this war. Because you know as well as I do, there are a lot of people like her in Washington, D.C., who want this thing to keep on going. It's the military-industrial contract, the complex with the contracts that are happening here, weapons manufacturing. The more you feed into that thing, the more it's going to happen. It'd be great if this war just stops. It'd be great if all wars stop. I think it's what we all want. And personally, I'd like us to be a lot less involved. And hopefully we don't have to be. All right. There's another thing regarding President Trump, and I'll just throw this in there before we get to something fun and ridiculous to head into the weekend. Also, this happened yesterday. Speaking of the man in charge, hear about this with Social Security? Everything you ever suspected was probably true in what they're finding out now. And this goes back to, we haven't talked about them in a while, DOJ, Department of Government Efficiency. They haven't stopped working, and they find stuff like this, and they get it to this guy's
benefits. We've already kicked nearly 275,000 illegal aliens off of the Social Security system. These are people, many of them have already left the country, and yet we were sending them checks all the time. And 275,000, and that number is now even larger than that, Frank. It's an unbelievable job. And what that's doing is making the system strong. It's making it strong.
Let me ask you this. What are the chances that those illegal aliens, as he says, were actually getting the money? Because I think, it's just my personal opinion, I don't think it was very likely at all that they were seeing any of this. But I think their names were being used. I think, giving them Social Security numbers, which we found was actually happening, to get them into the system for Social Security payouts was happening. But I don't think the people whose numbers were assigned or came to this country illegally, I don't think they ever got the money. But somebody did. For damn sure somebody did. So maybe the whole illegal immigration thing, opening up the border, was just all a big grifting money scam. Maybe. Is it possible? Because a lot of money was siphoned off this. Possibly the whole idea, and we've all asked why. What's the benefit to opening the border? Why would you do this? Why would you not crack down on illegal immigration? Doesn't take an exec. All it takes is a leader in charge. Why did you open it up? Maybe it was to siphon money out of Social Security. Maybe. So maybe they didn't really care about the humanitarian efforts of the people coming across the border. Maybe they didn't really care about their future at all. But they wanted their names in a system and giving them numbers so they can steal the money from them and us. Maybe? All right. Just throwing that out there. But I will say, I never actually thought, all of those years that I put into Social Security, you look at your paycheck and you look at it, my mindset was always, well, that's never going to be there when I retire. I never thought this broken, stupid system was going to be viable enough in a couple of years now. But it actually may be. I mean, if you take that many fraudulent names off of it and you clean it up and you get some of that money back and make it an efficient system, which may or may not happen, maybe it will be there. Maybe it'll even be there for our kids. Doubt it, but who the heck knows? But anyway, that was the update on that. All right. Too much serious stuff, even though we try to lighten it up. Let's send you off into the weekend with something even more stupid. You ready for this? Now, I love these things because I'm a dork and I follow them. Societal trends, right? This goes back to way back in college when I would love sociology classes. I just love social trends and where people are going, what people think. So that's why I love these social studies surveys, right? And this one comes from Rise Workplace Wellbeing and then published in Stylist. I don't know either, but anyway, they did a big survey, and this study found that 42% of your total day should go towards rest and relaxation. You know why this is relevant now, or pretends to be relevant? It's National Relaxation Day. That's right. It's a national day for everything. It's National Talk Like a Pirate Day. It's National Eat Cobbler Pie Day. It's National Kumquat Day. I don't freaking know. They got a national day for everything, right? Well, today's National Relaxation Day. And I want to repeat that again because they just throw it out there like this is a normal thing. They decided, by talking to all these people, whoever Rise Workplace Wellbeing is, that 42% of your total day should go towards rest and relaxation. Okay. I don't want to sound like old man yelling at the clouds here, but I'm going to. I'm going to tell you, and not like you would listen to this anyway, but let's just make fun of it. If you're spending 42% of your day, which is not that much under 50%, just under half your day of waking hours relaxing, you ain't going too far, kid. And I know, and everybody gets it. I get it. It's well understood, and the science is behind this now, where you need a work-life balance. Totally understand that. I totally get it. Your body and your mind, you need time to relax. That they had the gall to throw out a number like 42% of your day should be resting and relaxing. I wouldn't hire you. Well, let me just just put it that way. But it's relevant apparently because it's National Relaxation Day. Okay, I hope you do relax, and I hope you relax this weekend. But let me just leave you with this, and this is just things I've just picked up over the years in corporate workplace and being a business owner, and I guess as a parent, and just being a human in life. Forget about the 42% relaxation rule because that's going to get you nowhere. It's just not. First thing is, chill out while you do a lot of things. You'll find if you don't get overwhelmed and you just kind of work easy, not work hard, and get more done. But that's not relaxing 42% of the day. And the other thing is, if you want to get ahead, take it from me. If you do just 5% more than anybody else in the organization, 3 to 5%, let's even lower it, you're going to blow the competition away. Because as sad as it is, at every level, in any job or project, if you do just 5% more than everybody else, and sometimes that can just be like showing up on time or staying late or doing a little extra work or following up with people, like simple stuff, you're going to go very, very far. And that's my life advice. That's my life advice to you today. Not 42% relaxing during the day, 5% doing a little bit more than everybody else. And that's what I'll leave you with. That said, we're on the cusp of a weekend. It's right over the corner. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. I hope you do have a great time. Thanks for hanging out with me. All of this stuff available on replay over the weekend. I've noticed a trend with you guys. A lot of people catch up on the audio podcast and the replay of the live stream and pod during the weekend. And I totally get that because, that's when you might have some free time in your hand. Now, the weekend, that is for relaxation. So I hope you get it and do it. We'll catch up again on Monday. Have a wicked awesome weekend. Remember that 5% rule, too. I'll talk to you Monday.